payday lenders are looking for a lifetime income stream, right? They don't want their clients to ever repay the debt, because then they've got to go out and find another client. Much better to set it up so that the clients that they've got can never escape.
People can be treated quite ruthlessly too when they fall into hardship. So I think it's just time for major review.
When it comes to getting a loan and the interest you might end up paying back, the sky really is the limit. In New Zealand, some unregulated finance companies are charging up to 1.5% a day in interest on payday loans. If you take a year to pay it off, it could end up costing you more than 500% in interest. And there is no cap on what companies can charge.
The reason they do it is because it's legal. They can do it, so they do.
So this is my car, my pride and joy.
Many Kiwis like solo mum of four Angela are left with no choice but to use a third-tier lender.
And what does the letter there say, Angela?
It's a letter basically saying that if I don't pay the fees that are owing, within 2 days they're going to repossess this car. And that means that I'll have no transport.
How much money have you got to find to be able to keep this car?
$1,700.
Can you find that in 2 days?
Not at all, no way.
And what will happen to you once this car goes? How will you get on with your life?
Well, I won't be able to get my kids off to school.
It's a nice car.
And with it,
She first borrowed money from a finance company some 5 years ago.
This is my only form of transport. I wanted to get Christmas presents for my kids, so I just wanted a bit of help along the way. So from what I remember, I think I borrowed probably about $700 on my first visit there.
This particular company were only too happy to help with a 35.5% interest rate. But with only part-time sporadic work and 4 children to support, Angela quickly fell behind. She ended up in arrears. By late last year, she owed the finance company $5,300. Yet still, she was given another $1,200.
With that, the original loan is refinanced, which means a settlement fee is applied, and then a re-establishment fee is also applied, plus a payment protection plan that doesn't always suit the needs of the borrower. This is the car, the current car is the one that's on the contract.
Adrian Galley from Pakuranga Budgeting Services has been fighting Angela's corner and says irresponsible lending is commonplace.
I'll follow that up, so you don't have to talk to them. It's really devastating, the people who are most under-resourced, and also, as I've found out, across all income streams. Because a lot of people that I see carry 50 or 60,000 finance company credit card debt. It's not uncommon.
In 2017, 217 lenders were surveyed by the Commerce Commission. Of those, 45 lenders had rates above 20%, 17 were charging more than 100%, and 5 companies had advertised rates at a whopping 500%. Rates at the major banks for personal loans start at 14%.
Desperation, a lack of options, and the sheer ease with which finance companies are prepared to lend money is a reoccurring story. So too, tales of vulnerability.
My dad passed away. At the time, we weren't settled in well at the time, so I was quite in need of the money to go back home, since I was the only child and I had to go back home for my dad's funeral. So
Pacific Island families are especially at risk. Many send cash back to their home countries. Some can't afford it.
I ended up going to the finance company where I spent like only 30 minutes to get the loan approved.
Sarah took 2 loans out with 2 different finance companies.
How much interest did you end up paying on those loans?
It ended up like almost double the amount that I borrowed.
The loans she took out carried a 29.5% per annum interest charge. When she returned from Samoa, she simply couldn't afford to pay. Her family moved into emergency accommodation and sought financial help.
I was able to consolidate all into one non-interest loan from them, from the microfinance.
In this case, help was at hand from the Ngā Tangata Microfinance Trust. It provided Sarah with a way out. The trust was set up to offer safe, fair and affordable credit loan options with no fees. Its goal, a fairer financial system for all New Zealanders. But despite being helped by Ngā Tangata, the finance companies weren't finished there.
When I paid off all my debts from them, I kept on receiving calls from them, like, oh, you can come and we can offer you this amount, you can, whatever time you need, just come.
In the past 2 years, finance companies have been hit with fines totaling more than $1.2 million for breaching consumer guidelines.
This is months and years of this sort of really stressful, difficult life that they're trapped in.
And with no cap on the level of interest that can be charged, New Zealanders continue to suffer the consequences. Overseas, however, things have changed.
Most civilised countries have a total cost of credit cap, right, which ranges from somewhere like maybe 25%. In Australia, it's 48%. I think in the UK, what they've brought in from memory, it's 100%. Well, even that is better than what we've got operating here.
Back here in New Zealand, though, the industry is still unregulated. But today, there is a glimmer of hope.
Well, since we filmed with Angela, she has received some good news. Her budget advisor has managed to do a deal. She gets to pay half now and half later. Her budget advisor has helped her raise that money. So for now, Angela gets to keep her car.
We get to offer some alternatives.
Just this week, Minister of Commerce and Consumer Affairs Chris Farfoy released the findings of a discussion paper around predatory lending. He's calling for public submissions on a new interest rate cap and more regulated compliance, meaning a safety net for those that need it most.